What's an intruder? He wasn't there in the
What's an
beginning.
intruder? An intruder is a person that wasn't there in the beginning.
Let's slow you down,
That
Bobby.
is there now. That's ruling over the original people.
Yep, ruling over the original people.
And the Kabbalah says.
Kabbalah says.
He waits for the Kabbalah says.
Kabbalah.
And the intruder.
Body. Satan is Baal. Ka is body.
He rules
La is El.
because he causes luxury.
The body of Satan.
And he rules through his luxury.
Yeah, he rules through the
He's
material.
a chameleon.
Keep giving you material shit. And keep changing it up.
Changing the fashion.
Changing the fashion and also
Technology, and you keep
falsely
running
changing
after
technology. Let me interrupt something. Because every technology is based on the singular electromagnetic field. So there is no such thing as megabytes and gigabytes and kilobytes. No such thing, because there's one frequency, and that's why you have the word universe. The way that they're controlling these things and creating the concept of, megabytes, gigabytes, whatever, as well as different levels of so-called electricity, and telling you that you're using kilowatts when kilowatts is a completely fabricated label. The way they're doing all of that is just by creating a false meter that is clicking and looking like, oh, I'm measuring electricity here. It's making you think they're measuring the electricity when they've just concocted a way to look like they're measuring electricity, because there's only one single universal electromagnetic field. And regarding technology, the computer and the different levels of data, and the computer, can't take that much data, and we've had to, they have created this idea of computer technology expanding, and that they are the creators of that, and that once upon a time back in the 80s or whatever, the computer had to be the size of a fucking pool or something like that. All that's fake, because you're dealing with frequency, energy. It's invisible, people. It doesn't have a space that it's held on, unless you say, okay, it can only be held on the CD. Okay, it can only be held on this floppy disk. Okay, we created a SIM card now. Now you don't even have the SIM card anymore. And the second point I want to say, because I'm speaking off the cuff, one other point I want to make is that how do they control these things? As was said, they create different inventions that are all the same thing. They all have the same function, but they created it in an evolutionary process to make you think that they invented something. Everything's working on an electromagnetic field. Go back in time. You had records that were made of carbon, and that was just literally using the physical vibration with a diamond point. And then you had 8 tracks, which is a magnetic tape, and then you had cassette tracks, or whatever, I don't know what you call it, cassette tapes, which is using magnetic tape, and it's just actually, again, a physical turning of a wheel, basically. The tape runs against another, I guess, electromagnetic something reader or whatever, so that you can hear the sound. But we had records, we had 8-tracks, we had cassette tapes, we had CDs, we had DVDs, we have Blu-ray, we have some other bullshit that they don't have anymore. Then you had mini DVDs, right? Now you don't have any of that. It's just straight digital. Now you have the fake concept of a cloud. And you think that they're storing data somewhere. Doesn't need to be stored somewhere. It's an access point for you to have it, but it can be anywhere. It can be anywhere because it's universal. It's a universal frequency. It is the electromagnetic field of the air that we are all using to get Wi-Fi and even to breathe. That same electromagnetic field is also what is sustaining you and your breath, because the air is electrified. But that is speaking in science, in the beast terms. But if you knew the natural science of the universe, I wouldn't be needing to explain this to you, because you would understand it already. You would understand the principles and elements of nature that create the material world. And you would understand through the personification of those energies. Okay, we have Mother Hawa. She's the air. We have Osiris. He's the masculine electromagnetic field. You have yourself. You are a composite of all of that. You are the material and the non-material, the spiritual. You have Geb, one word, one name for her. Geb, the earth. Then you have the sky, which again, that's Hawa. I'm going to stop talking now. Just review those pieces and make it your own. Basically, what I told you is that all of technology is a farce. The concept of electricity is a farce. And they're controlling it by slowing down and making, putting resistors that will slow down the electromagnetic field that is freely flowing for everyone. All they're doing is slowing it down. As far as electricity, that stuff is flowing out of the wall no matter what. And they just put a little meter or timer outside of your house and pretend that they are calculating how much energy you're using when they're not. They're just coming up with a way to bill you. They're just coming up with a way to charge you for the electromagnetic field that is free. I'm going to stop talking because I cannot explain it any further. I'm sure that there's a guy on YouTube that got Wi-Fi through his TV without a cord or anything. Do I know how to do that? No. But if you know the science of the universe, which is just what I told you, you have the electromagnetic field that's in the air. Copper is the receiver. You can't do anything without copper. Copper is the physical receiver. The air is the invisible frequency, right? So all of the radio waves, telephone waves, as I'm describing it. All of that technology is the same from the beginning. They just make you think that it evolved. It didn't. Telephone waves, the same way the telephone worked back in the 50s, is the same way that Wi-Fi is working right now. You can get somebody's voice from across the seas. The only thing they did is create a middleman and create operators and say that you need to go through the operator to do something, as well as put in resistance and static. So I'm going to stop talking now because I really want to upload one of these videos for Uncle Bobby. Or I'm not for him, but that's how I want to say it. I'm saying in gratitude of Uncle Bobby. So that ends another episode of What I Learned from Bobby Hemmit.